All right, we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. If you are joining live, drop a hello in the chat and tell me where you are watching from. I love seeing new people wherever you're tuning in from. Yay! I personally am in Miami, Homestead specifically. We live on 5 acres with our 4 rescue dogs. Amazing. Wow. Okay, so while people are jumping on, I want to keep an eye on the chat. Yay, Kylene. Welcome, welcome everyone, wherever you're calling from. So I love it. So before I dive in, I want to take a minute for anyone who is new here because I know that that some of you are finding me on YouTube for the very first time, and I want you to know who you're talking to. So my name is Barry Lyman, and I'm the founder of Meet to Marry and the creator of the Bye Bye Blind Spots method. And for 15 years, I have worked with single women and men, all kinds of people, founders, executives, teachers, healers, coaches, people who've built extraordinary lives and cannot figure out why this one area that should feel natural, love, still keeps not working. So, what I want you to know is that I'm not a therapist and I'm not just a dating coach who's going to teach you how to write a better profile or what to text him back. We're not doing that. I do something different. What I do is I help you to see and heal unconscious dating and relationship patterns, the blind spot that's been quietly running your love life without your permission. And then we change it, not conceptually change it, but we change it for real in your body, in your identity, so that everything changes and it affects you in the best of ways. It affects the way you walk into every room connected to your essence. So my clients don't just get better dates, they get completely different results. And guess what? 90% of them meet their person online. Yes, not because the apps are so magical. I'm going to explain all of that to you in a minute, but because something shifted in them that changed everything about who they attract, right? Oh my gosh, I get wedding invitations. I've watched people over the past 15 years to build families, the families they thought were not possible for them. I've seen singles who spent years in almost relationships suddenly find themselves in the calmest, most aligned love they have ever known. And this is the work. It's amazing. And today I want to share something that is at the root of why so many smart, self aware people stay stuck so much longer than they need to. But first, I have a quick question for the chat. Have you ever thought about deleting the apps and just waiting to meet someone organically? Type yes or no in the chat if that's you. So I knew it. I knew it. Look at all the yeses. I get yeses all the time. And that means that you're in the right place with me today because today I want to talk about something nobody in the dating space is honestly saying, is honestly talking about. And this is what I want you to know today, that the apps are not the problem. And meeting organically is definitely not the solution. Okay, stay with me. So let me start with the fantasy because it is real and it is beautiful. And I'm not here to shame the fantasy, right, of what we want. The organic, meet Prince Charming, right, goes something like this. You're at a dinner party or you're at a coffee shop or a friend introduces you. And there's this moment, this conversation, right, this glance a connection that just flows. No swiping, no algorithms, no awkward messages. It just happens, right? And it feels like proof that it was meant to be, right? So has anyone here actually met someone organically through friends at an event in real life and it still didn't work out? Type in the chat, it happened to me. Or if you're watching this recording, which many people will be doing, it happened to me in the chat if that is you. If that is you. Yeah. Wow. So look at that. Yeah. Esty, hi. Oh, Chef Paulette, hi. So good to see you. Yeah, you see, so that's the thing, is that this is really what nobody talks about. See, you can meet someone in the most romantic, organic, meant to be way possible and still end up with the same crappy outcome. It happened to me. Oh my gosh, I dated all the wrong people, and I would meet them mostly organically and some online, but it was always the same outcome. I always felt broken. I always felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt abandoned always, until this got handled and fixed. And that's what we're talking about today. Because the method is just the room you walk into, online or offline. See, what you bring into the room is everything. And I get it. I get it. I used to watch all the shows, right? Back in the day. I get why the fantasy is so appealing. Online dating can feel like not natural. I get it. It can feel manufactured and exhausting and full of people who are not serious. I get it. And after enough disappointing experiences, waiting for something organic like sort of feels like the answer, right? Yeah. But here is what I have seen happen over and over and over again in 15 years of doing this work and helping more than 832 people to be in conscious relationships, right? See, you can delete the apps. The women and men, they go to every dinner party, or because they want to meet organically. They say yes to every setup, and they put themselves out there organically. And guess what happens? They meet the same wrong people. Same, right? Can you relate? Different faces, same outcome, right? Because they bring the same version of themselves into that room. And that's the part that nobody talks about. So if the apps are not the problem and meeting organically is not the solution, what is actually going on here? Right? Well, here is the truth. Are you ready? Whether you're 30 or you're 70, the truth is the truth. Your patterns just don't care where you meet people. They don't. They don't. Let me say that again. Your patterns do not care where you meet people. Okay. So if you're attracting emotionally unavailable men on Hinge, you will attract them at your friend's wedding too. If you're getting ghosted after 3 dates on Bumble, you will get ghosted by the man or the men that you meet at places like the farmer's market too. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. It happened to me when I was in this energetically blocked, unaware place in my dating, and I wanted love so badly. I would meet these emotionally unavailable men through introductions by a rabbi. I would meet them at the Kabbalah Center. I did landmark education with one of the most, shall we say, emotionally unavailable, kind of narcissistic man ever. So it doesn't matter where you are. So what happens is until something changes inside of you, the result's going to stay the same. Have you noticed yourself attracting the same kinds of person over and over, regardless of how you met them? Is that you? If yes, put same pattern in the chat if that resonates. Yeah. Yeah, Jacqueline, I see it happen to you. Of course, because this is basically how it works. And so uh, and that's what people are saying. Yes, it happened to me. Uh, it doesn't matter where you go, there you are, right? And I want you to really sit with that for a second because the pattern is not bad luck. The pattern is not bad luck. You know what it is? It's information. And that information we can use because it's your blind spot showing you exactly where the transformation or the work needs to happen within you. Okay. So I want to tell you a story about a client I'm going to call Sarah. Okay. Sarah came to me and she was absolutely convinced that online dating was the problem. You know, when you start talking about, oh, the apps, everyone's going to agree with you, right? Oh, the apps. She was done with the apps. She was smart, accomplished, and she had everything else but someone to share her beautiful life with. She was completely stuck. And when we started working together, I looked at her patterns and I could see immediately that the apps had absolutely nothing to do with it. What did have to do with it? She was still emotionally incomplete from her last relationship. She had a blind spot that she couldn't see that was quietly running every single date that she went on. And you know what else? She had absolutely no real vision for what she actually wanted and needed in a relationship. She just had this vague sense of what she didn't want. And she had a little list of what she did want. But here's the thing, that's not going to work. Those three things followed her everywhere, apps or no apps. And when we did address those things and fix them, transcend them, when she then became the most authentic version of herself, that's when everything changed. You see, she didn't find a better method. She brought a different woman to the same apps, and that woman attracted someone completely different. And you know what? I got a wedding invitation from her last week, and it's so exciting. And she's actually going to be a guest on the workshop that I'm doing on March 25th at 7 p.m. So I put a link to that in the chat, and you get to meet her. She wrote to me, "You must be at our wedding. This wouldn't have happened without you and your program." I love it. Now she's a soul sister. You see, this is what the work does. So what are the specific things that keep smart, self-aware women stuck regardless of the date? Well, I call them the three mistakes. And I want to give you the real version right now. And then as I go through these mistakes, I want you to type 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, okay? For whichever one lands the hardest for you. Okay, ready? Okay. Mistake number 1 is what we've been talking about, thinking that the method is the problem. We just covered this, but I want to add, a specific layer. The reason this mistake is so sticky is that the apps genuinely, they do have problems. Yes, you can attract men who ghost or women who ghost. The lack of seriousness for some people is very real, and that's why this is not working, right? But the method is, again, just the room you walk into, and what you bring to the room is everything. And I want to say that apps are amazing because it's where busy people go. It's effective. We're going to talk about that. So, mistake number 2 is dating before you are really ready. So, an analogy is you want to run like a marathon or a triathlon, but you haven't run or swam or biked in 10 years. So, you're not going to go next Sunday and just like dive in to run a marathon, right? That would be silly, right? You would definitely train. You would definitely get yourself ready. You would you adjust your diet, right? You would do the reps, you would practice, you would start slowly, build up, all of those things, right? So guess what? Most people are just not ready when they start dating. And this is one of the most important and one of the least talked about problems, mistakes, because there's a difference between being available and being ready. Look, most of you are available, right? You've been divorced once or twice, so you've never been married, or you've been in long relationships, or you've taken a long break from dating, whatever the case may be. So available means like you're single and you're open. But ready is completely different than that. Ready means many things. One, you're emotionally complete from past relationships, not just over it, but complete. There's a major difference. Ready means also that you've identified your unconscious pattern, the blind spot, the one thing that's been quietly running your dating life without your permission, without your permission, right? And this conversation, everyone, really requires a beginner's mindset to be an observer, because the point of this conversation is for you to have the love that you want in the way that you want it. That's what's most important, right? So now we're looking at readiness. And all 832 of the people I helped to find sweet love, they all got ready, right? And third, ready means that you have a real vision for what you want and what you need in a relationship, not just a list of qualities, an actual felt sense of the relationship and the life that you want. And we can break that up and really understand from your past, from your background, what your true emotional needs are. That's just one of those things. You see, most people are available, but I'll tell you what, very few, the smartest, most self aware, the therapists, the coaches are actually ready, right? Because we don't really learn this growing up, right? And dating before you're ready produces one result: the same experience, different person every single time, right? It's painful. And that was me. I spent many, many years just trying to make something work that was not going to work. So now let's move into mistake number 3. And that mistake is not having a real strategy. And I want to be clear about what I mean by strategy, because it's not what most people think. I don't mean tactics. I don't mean profile hacks or conversation scripts. I mean knowing exactly what you're looking for and why, knowing also how to recognize them when they show up, knowing how to show up as your fullest self in every conversation so the right people self select in and the wrong people self select out very quickly. That is empowered dating. Now, what most people are doing is they have a list of red flags and things they don't want. And they're so proud because then they recognize that faster and faster, right? Can you relate to that? Right? Put a yes in the chat if you like always look out for red flags. Yeah, definitely. Yep. But we're not here today. I'm just looking at the chat. I have to go to another window to see. So you want to be an empowered dater who is aligned at every level. And it's so beautiful. Why? Because it saves a lot of time and it's effective. And that's why things happen very quickly for our clients who find sweet love that makes life better, makes life better. So, what's landing for you? Which one are you? One, two, or three? Which landed for you? Because that is really what we're looking at. Mistake number one, thinking the method is the problem. Mistake number two, dating before you're truly ready. Or mistake number three, not having a strategy. And you know what? For me, it was all of those things, right? So I walked in your shoes. I know what this looks like. Okay. So that is so good. And what I want you to know is that whichever one landed for you, we're going deep on all three next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So here's where I want to leave you today. Before I tell you about next Wednesday, I want to ask you whether you're live with me today or you're watching um, the replay. I want to ask you one thing. In one word, how would you describe your dating life right now? Just one word in the chat. Is it exhausting? Yep. A little of all three hit home. Yep. Definitely same pattern. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get it. Right. So when we talk about this and people come to me for support, they're feeling stuck. They're feeling exhausted. I hope this conversation is making you feel hopeful. Some people feel confused. And what I want you to know, Esty and Jacqueline, everyone who's here, is I see you, every single one of those words. And I want you to know that none of them are permanent. None of that is who you are. It's just where you are right now, and it can change and faster than you think. So, if any of this landed today, and I want to say too, that was me at 20 years old. I dated someone who was a professional, a computer consultant, handsome, charming, but you know what? He had a drug problem. I didn't even know. A healthier person, he would have definitely walked away very quickly. No, not me. And so it was in and out of rehab, me being the helper, wanting to save him, the whole codependent thing. I've been through it all. And today, again, I help thousands of people to break out of patterns, right? So it goes to prove that anything can change, that getting to wholeness and finding love is definitely a learnable skill when you have the right plan, right? So if any of this landed today for you, if you recognize yourself in the organic dating fantasy or in the pattern of meeting the same person, different face, different, excuse me, different body, or in the sense that you've done so much work. So I wanted to say that starting at 20, I I was working on myself, right? But actually I started therapy at 12 years old. And when we meet on the 25th at 7, I'm going to tell you more about my background and my journey. But so I was extremely self aware then. I knew about codependency. I learned about being a love junkie, all those things. So if that is you and you have had a journey and you're ready to end the lessons and move into great love, then I want you to join me next Wednesday, March 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, 6 Central. Okay. It's a free 90-minute workshop called Stop Waiting to meet someone organically and start dating and start doing this instead. And we're going to go deep on all three mistakes, what they actually look like, why they're so hard to see in yourself, and exactly how to shift them. This is not surface level dating advice. This is the real transformation, the future focused transformation that we do. So the link to register is in the description. I pinned it to the top of the comments. So if you scroll over there, and I will put it back in right now. And then I have one last thing for you. And I'm really excited to see you next Wednesday. Okay, there's the link. I'm so excited to see you all next Wednesday. So before this live, some of you sent me some questions. And if you have questions, drop them in the chat right now. So someone asked me, what if I genuinely tried everything and nothing has worked? So my answer to you is that that is usually the clearest sign that the issue is not dating online or organically or offline. When someone has tried everything, gotten the same result, the common denominator is always worth looking at. And that's what we're going to do together on March 25th. Okay. And someone else asked, is this just for people who are on dating apps? And the answer is absolutely not. This is for anyone who wants sweet love, healthy love, conscious love, I love to call it, and keeps on not finding it. Okay? Whether you're on the apps, meeting organically, whatever, if you want to find a committed lifetime relationship that I happen to call marriage, but it can be called whatever you want. And one other question, let me see that my assistant texted me. Oh, right. I've done so much therapy and self-work. Why am I still stuck? That's what I wanted to know. If I'm such a good person, I'm such a self-aware person, why am I still stuck? Or God will send me the person. And this is the question I hear like most often, because everyone, if you're here, you're self-aware, right? You're problem aware. And the answer is that really understanding your patterns and embodying a new identity that is most true to your authentic self are two different things. Therapy gives you insight, right? I did therapy for so many years. And, I was curious, like, why do I still attract the wrong people if I have nearly, 18 years of therapy under my belt? And how do I find great love? And my therapist said, I don't know. It's not my training. So therapy definitely has its place. There's no question, but this is totally different. It's like if you have a piano that you want tuned, you don't call a plumber, right? You call a specialist, a piano tuner, right? So they're just not the same. So this is something else. And it doesn't diminish all the great work you've done, because everyone I've worked with did a lot of great work. I did energy healing for myself. I did past life regression. I thought I was cursed. I did therapy. I did Landmark. I did Tony Robbins. I did EFT tapping. You name it. Everything I could think of. But it was this work that changed everything. Okay, perfect. All right. So I hope you registered for March 25th. We're going to look at the list right after. And if someone came to mind while you're watching today who's just not getting traction on dating, or you have single friends, a sister, someone you know who needs to hear this, please share this video with them. And that's the greatest gift that you can really give both of us. Okay, everyone. So I'll see you on Wednesday, a week from today at 7 p.m. for our workshop. With love. Mwah. I believe in you, and your soulmate is waiting. What you're seeking is seeking you. All right, everyone. See you soon.